Before we start the video, I'm going to show you my story of how I watched hockey for the first time. Aged 1, 2009, I watched hockey. This is the Chicago Blackhawks at Edmonton Oilers game. And this has been 15 years I've watched hockey. And here's the first game. I'm going to upload it right now. So, here it is.
Well, if you like high-flying hockey, the Chicago Blackhawks can provide that. The Oilers have to find a way to stop it. They'll need to summon their best tonight to establish a modest two-game win streak. Mark Lee and Kevin Weeks in the broadcast booth. Mark.
Scott, the Blackhawks bring their circus act to Edmonton after flattening Calgary 7-1 on Thursday. Can the injury-plagued Oilers stay with them tonight? We'll find out. The last time these teams met almost a year ago in this building, a 9-2 shellacking. Chicago burying Edmonton. With the Oilers coming off that encouraging 6-4 come-from-behind win over Colorado, and already they've got some thunder going as J.F. Jock is throwing his body around. 2 hits on Hjalmarsson already. With Jock back in the lineup after missing 7 games with a back injury, and he looks ready to get his nose dirty here tonight. Hjalmarsson back in his own end, icing the call as the faceoff comes back in the Edmonton zone.
Well, J.F. Jock, the Oilers definitely missed him, missed his physical presence, and he brings an element to this team that they don't normally have. Here you see him initiating with a big hit on Hjalmarsson, and it doesn't stop there. Another big hit here in the corner on left.
Pat Quinn says he needs his forwards to show a bit more of that grit, sandpaper, and the Oilers hoping to get Ryan Stone back next week after knee surgery has kept him out most of the season. Duncan Keith throws it around the boards. Taves in behind the net. Jarred off the puck by Staios. Now Kane turning in the corner. Staios, his partner Sheldon Souray in his 4th game back after missing 16 with that concussion. And the Oilers will dump it down the ice.
Well, the Oilers are going to have to be physical. Look for them to be physical tonight against the Hawks with all this talent and skill that the Hawks have.
Here's Dustin Penner breaking up the pass from Keith, going right to the net, trying to jam it in. And he's stopped by Cristobal Huet, who's on a 5-game win streak coming into this one. The Hawks will send it into the Edmonton zone. Jeff Delorier getting the start with the late development that Nick Habibulin's back has acted up on him, and he can't dress tonight. Torrey Jung, the starting goalie for the Edmonton Oil Kings of the Western Hockey League, is dressed as the backup tonight. Brent Sopel throwing it along the boards past Troy Brouwer, picked up by Wisnowski, ahead to Dustin Penner. Penner rink wide as Schmid jumps into the rush. He's knocked into the boards by Andrew Ladd. And Chicago will come back up ice. A long stretch pass intercepted by Liam Reddix. It's off a stick and high and out of play. We talked about the changes. Huet will get the start after a 5-game win streak and a rough start to his season. He's won the praise of his coach Joel Quenneville and touting a 3rd best goals against average in the Western Conference. And there's the surprise starter, Jeff Delorier. He allowed 3 goals on the first 7 shots in that come-from-behind win over Colorado. And he gets the start tonight with Nick Habibulin nursing a back helmet that flared up today and prevented him from dressing. The puck tipped high into the Oilers zone. Strudwick turns away from the check as Patrick Sharp and Patrick O'Sullivan on it quickly. A bounce pass too far for Brule. Hjalmarsson to his partner Brian Campbell. It hops over his stick. DDD again, the Hawks go, and Hjalmarsson a long pass to center over the stick of Buffalo. Strudwick and Gilbert. Now Reddix. He's shown a lot of energy since being called up from Springfield. Deep in the corner is Brule all by himself. A long pass again broken up at center ice by the Oilers. And now the Hawks gain the zone as Eager plays it in deep for Thomas Kopecky. Staios manages to play it back to Souray. He'll outlet the pass to Cogliano at center, chipping it inside the Chicago zone. Duncan Keith quickly up the right wing. Kopecky head-manning it. Fraser to the left wing. Eager back to Fraser. A stick check with a long reach of Souray. The big defenseman takes his man off the puck into the corner. Back up ice with some jump is Cogliano now. Flying through the neutral zone. Rimming it around the boards. Huet couldn't stop it. Keith is there, and he was lined up by Cogliano, who just missed. The Oilers coming out with some jump and some aggressive hockey here early, and they know they can't trade finesse with this Chicago Hockey Club tonight. Penner across the line in front of John Madden. His pass broken up. Penner going down. The back check. Brian Bickle is injured and laying prone on the ice in his own zone as Campbell brings the puck inside the Edmonton end. But Bickle, the call-up from Rockford, who's been playing on that first line for Chicago, is still down on the ice.
Well, Brian Bickle definitely getting the worst of this exchange here physically. Imagine going up against Dustin Penner, who essentially could be a tight end in the National Football League. And you see he looks a little worse for wear. The Chicago medical trainer out there tending to him.
Give him the standing 8 count, I think.
Yeah, he's not looking good right now, and fortunately for him, his teammates come there, his assistants to help lead him off the ice. But you see Penner cuts to the middle here with a full head of steam, and Bickle's actually the one that initiated that hit, Mark.
He got the worst of it coming back on Penner with the hit on the back check, actually jumping at the big man from Winkler, and he got the worst of it. Of course, Marian Hossa has been skating and is on the trip with Joel Quenneville and the Blackhawks, and they expect he will make his debut as a Hawk later on in this road trip, perhaps next week in San Jose.
Joel Quenneville and the entire Chicago Blackhawk team definitely licking their fingers to get Marian Hossa back in the lineup. He's a bona fide marquee player in this league.
Andrew Ladd, Tortini with some bumping and pushing at the face-off. In the zone now. Wisnowski trying to find the puck in his skates. Ladd's there and has it for Chicago. Cycling with Taves. Taves dropping it behind the Edmonton goal. Nobody there except Schmid. Turning away now from Taves. And Taves has it right in front. He shoots and scores! What a giveaway! This has cursed the Oilers this year. And Jonathan Taves hits the score sheet first for Chicago.
Well, Coach Pat Quinn talked about managing the puck and making smart decisions with the puck. And you'll see here in the battle in the corner, just initially, the initial dump in here, and Wisnowski loses the one-on-one battle to Andrew Ladd. And you see the cycle here by the Hawks. And Taves, again, just out-wanting the puck more than the Oilers. And Schmid just very casual here. Very, very casual. And he gets stripped to the puck here. Give Jonathan Taves 2 opportunities. He's going to put it into the back of the net.
Just the 3rd goal of the season for Jonathan Taves. He had 34 last year. And now he's got the puck again. Trying to center it. It comes back to the point. And over Brent Silka's sticking down the ice.
When you talk about managing the puck, you got to do a good job. That's why the Detroit Red Wings are one of the elite teams for the last 12 years in the National Hockey League. They do a fantastic job at managing the puck and making smart decisions.
Icing the call against Chicago. Taves, his 3rd of the year from Kane at .350.
Well, Jonathan Taves, you mentioned, Mark, this is his 3rd goal. Obviously, he missed some time due to that injury that he sustained on that hit. But just watch him try to protect the puck here and watch his pursuit. You see the pursuit. And as opposed to going behind the net on Schmid, he took the route in front of the net, stripped him, put it in the back of the net.
Surrey keeping it into the line, throwing it towards the net. Penner in front. They score! The Hawks put it in their own net. Cam Barker did it. And the Oilers answer back. Penner, the man in front, causing traffic. But Chicago botched it themselves.
Dustin Penner on the faceoff. This is why faceoffs are so critical. And good support by the Oilers forward. Sheldon Surrey, just a quick shot. Not unleashing that bomb that he has. A quick shot to the net. You see nice support off the draw here by the Oilers. And look at Dustin Penner going to the front of the net, establishing a presence. And obviously, Barker putting that puck into his own net. But credit, again, to Dustin Penner for going to the front of the net and creating traffic.
He's made good things happen this year. More energetic, a fitter hockey player, a point-per-night man, leading the Oilers in scoring. That's 2 goals, Kevin, in 35 seconds. Penner is 13th of the season from Surrey and Horkoff at .425. So the Oilers answer back in an exciting first period of hockey so far here at Rexall Place. Gilbert around the boards, but he turns over at the line. Duncan Keith firing it towards the net. It's loose in the slot and cleared by Ethan Morrow. Back comes Chicago in transition. Taves looking at Keith going right to the net. Bounce pass off the backboards, and on it is Bufflin for Chicago. He loses the puck to Strudwick, and now Ethan Morrow for Edmonton. Up the left wing, Horkoff. Rink wide for a dashing Hemsky. Hemsky holding the puck, leaves it for Horkoff. A shot and a big rebound. Horkoff again, and he just missed on the rebound. Chris Versteeg bouncing and chasing. Here goes John Madden. Free agent acquisition this year from New Jersey. Tries to pick up the puck and nearly picked the pocket of Wisniewski. Penner gets it out of his own zone. Lost the puck though. And Schmid gets it ahead to Horkoff. Wisniewski joining the rush. Wisniewski trying to go wide on Barker but loses the puck and then gets knocked down by Barker. Horkoff in the corner. Throws it around the far side. Hemsky in deep. Takes a shot there from Barker, and Buffalo has the puck. Headmans it to Patrick Sharp. Sharp at center ice now, all by himself as the Hawks change on the fly. He gets in behind Wisniewski. Now Schmid rams him along the boards, but not off the puck. This is one thing that the Oilers have stressed they've got to do. Pat Quinn says they've got to ruin the cycle developed by Chicago in their end tonight, or they're going to have fits with these Blackhawks. Brule can't catch up in the pocket center. Turnover by Hjalmarsson. He's been giving it away tonight. Now a puck here for O'Sullivan. Tried to drag it and get around the Chicago defenseman and lost it at the last second.
Well, Mark, you mentioned Hjalmarsson with a couple giveaways tonight. Part of the reasons is those good two first hits that the Oilers had on the first shift. That'll always make a defenseman be a little bit tentative going back there and make plays.
Sullivan, center, checked by Duncan Keith. And now another turnover in transition. Liam Reddix could have split the defense, plays it across. Brule leaves it, a bouncing puck. Swiping at it is O'Sullivan, and he can't get control as it bounces outside the Oilers zone. Eager gets around Sure. In deep, it's checked by Steos. Steos goes down in the heat. Now Brent Sopel in front, all alone is Versteeg. Another chance, they score! Chris Versteeg left all alone. Gets two chances to beat Delorier.
Talk about puck management in your own zone and winning battles along the wall and why it's so critical, especially against a skilled, talented team like the Chicago Blackhawks. Again, the Oilers, you see Steve Stales going back to the puck in the corner. That's the support, but again, they just throw the puck blind up the wall and they lose their coverage. And Pat Quinn talked this morning about the fact that they have to play a zone coverage when they're in their own defensive zone versus a man-on-man. They do the exact opposite. They give Versteeg two cracks at it. 2-1 Hawks.
Number 32,
Chris Versteeg had two of Chicago's power play goals on Thursday night in that 7-1 win. There's a chance in front, and Morrow was checked from behind by Versteeg, and now Versteeg on the score sheet again.
7 minutes, 20
his seventh of the season. From Sopel and Eager at 7:20 in the 2-1 Chicago lead. Campbell dropping it back. Duncan Keith taking his time now. He finds Campbell jumping the rush, going wide. His shot off the stick of Gilbert into the glass. Hacking at it is Ethan Morrow to get it back to center ice. Hjalmarsson, Brian Campbell, the $7 million man for Chicago, drops it back for Hjalmarsson. Long stretch pass at the line. Brouwer into the skates of Madden, and he loses control of it. Schmid drops it for his partner. Gilbert, long pass off the stick of Reddix into the Chicago zone. Hjalmarsson now in the corner, throws it right back to Campbell in the open corner. Noski pinching on the play, couldn't keep it in. It goes all the way down the ice. Icing waved off as Schmid goes back forward for Edmonton. Gilbert Brule nicely ahead to Schmid. Schmid across the Chicago line, going wide on Brent Seabrook. Schmid knocked off the puck by Seabrook, then gets it back. In the corner now, Penner covering the left point. Walking out in front, a chance there for O'Sullivan. And he lost control of it. Now a chance, Patrick Kane turning on the Jets. Kane setting up, firing it high, stick side just over the net. Taves, in deep, knocked off the play by Wisniewski, who turns away with the puck. Buy himself some time and space.
One thing the Oilers are going to have to be aware of is not trying to trade chances offensively and get into a track meet with the Hawks.
Here's Hemsky. Hemsky's pass right on the stick to John Madden, but not out. Sure plays it around the boards in deep, behind the net, over the stick of Hemsky. Duncan Keith being pestered by Horkoff. He drops it now. Parker around the boards for Andrew Ladd. Ladd manages to get it to Madden and out. Head manning the puck to Troy Brouwer. Brouwer now with Ladd going to the net. Brouwer fires it. It's blocked by Hemsky. In transition now, the Oilers trying to come up ice. And they'll just get it out. Penner playing it off the glass. Keith, a long bouncing shot, steadied by Delorier. Chicago changing now. The Oilers get some room now to get it down the ice and play it deep. No icing. Campbell, a long bounce pass to Kopecky. Chicago using that stretch pass a lot here and really going. Douglas outlets it to Jacques, off the stick to Fraser. Again, Chicago has control of the puck. Laurier looking a lot steadier than he did in his last start. This is Betchy's 5th start of the season. And he had those 3 goals and 7 shots against Colorado. And then steadied up as the Royal came back. 4 straight goals to win it 6-4. Here's Sharp at center ice. Chipping it in the zone. Chicago changing again. Pesky on the forecheck from Gilbert. Now Sangagne back down on the 4th line tonight. Flips it out of his zone. Soper. D to D. Barker now at center. Fires it on the glass in the Oiler end. Patrick Kane is there first. Turned 21 on Thursday here in Canada. Ethan Morrow lugging it to center. And to Cogliano. He's got to jump on Sopel. And Sopel gets the stick. There's a backhand chance for Ethan Morrow. Following up the rebound. And he's stopped by Cristobal Huet. Cogliano turns on the Jets and nearly got a chance.
Chris Versteeg back in Alberta, where he played for the Red Deer Rebels, start for Brent Sutter's team. Take a look at Chris Versteeg going to the net here, following his shot, first, second shot, and goes up in the air, and you see Sheldon Surrey tried to bat that and puts it in his own net. And the same thing at the other end here, with Cam Barker just getting the stick. You'll see here Cristobal Huet, Cam Barker's stick inadvertently and his skate helped deposit that puck into the back of the net.
Now Sheldon Surrey was the last Oiler to touch the puck. Penner's been credited with his 13th, but they may well change that and award Sheldon Surrey his first goal of the season. Pass didn't get to Horkoff. It comes back inside the Oiler line. A long pass to Hemsky, glancing off his stick. Brouwer now dropping it back. Duncan Keith ahead to Patrick Sharp, turning away from the check. Oilers really getting in the faces of the Blackhawks here at every turn. Horkoff can't control it, then knocked along the boards by Brouwer. Has to play it back to Schmid. Wisnowski up the right wing, off the stick of Andrew Ladd, right back to Duncan Keith. Seabrook, a long pass, wide open was John Madden, but he couldn't control it. Wisnowski's back in his own end. He just throws it away. Blind pass that Brule is there to pick up. Chicago now changing. Oilers with room. Again, this opportunity there on the breakout as Brule can't handle the pass from Schmid. Edmonton escapes its own end. Reddick's checked by Sharp on the back check. Brian Campbell plays it back deep in his own end. Dalmerson, a long pass. Center ice, tipped in the zone by Sharp. Surrey off the glass. Correct my analysis on Delorier. He allowed those 3 goals and 7 shots, the first 7 shots against Colorado. He's given up 2 here on 5 shots by Chicago. Knocked down by Patrick Kane. Entering the zone, going right around Radix. He scores! Patrick Kane on a career-high 5-game scoring streak now. Has his first of the night, and that's 3 goals on 6 shots against Delorier.
Time and space. It's all about time and space, and you hear coaches say that all the time. Look at this breakout by the Hawks, and look at Patrick Kane just using man strength and will, even more so than skill. Watch him skate here. He accelerates when he gets his puck. He doesn't slow down. Shifts Liam Reddick, takes the puck strong to the net. This is a power move. And he's not a very big guy, but this is called playing bigger than your size. Nice goal by Patrick Kane.
The Oilers really don't have much choice with Delorier tonight because of Abby Boulin's absence. Here's another chance. Buffalo fires it wide. They've got the kid, Torrey Jung, the 20-year-old junior netmanger, on the bench tonight.
12 minutes, 33 seconds. Blackhawks goal scored by Kane.
Goes into an open wing, too far for Sangagne. Back with Barker for Chicago. Brent Soper off the boards and out to center. Pesky checked by Schmid.
Well, Mark, you mentioned young Torrey Jung from the Oil Kings called up tonight. What a thrill this must be for him, but I'm sure he's nervous right now. You never know where the score is going to go, and this is a great example, again, of why people say in the game you never know what can happen. 1 minute he's in the Western League, and now he's in the National Hockey League.
Oilers GM Steve Tambellini signed him to an amateur tryout contract just to get him in uniform tonight. He's wearing number 1 on the bench for the Oilers. But you're right, his eyes were as big as saucers in the dressing room before the game.
Yeah, I could imagine. I remember being that age, and for him to be here on this stage and have this opportunity, this is the thrill of a lifetime for him. But you're right, you never know what could happen. He might find himself in the net yet, so I'm sure he's a little bit nervous down there.
Delorier comes way out, and a derisive cheer from the Edmonton faithful as he gloves that one as we head to break.
Well, what must he be thinking? There's Torrey Jung on the Oilers bench, 20 years old, making his first ever NHL appearance, even if it is in a backup role to Jeff Delorier. When Happy Bullen tweaked his back this morning, there wasn't enough time to get someone up from Springfield. So as Mark said, the Oilers signed Jung, who is the Oil Kings' #1 goaltender, to a tryout contract, and here he is. Played for the Oil Kings last night, will again tomorrow afternoon, but right now he's got to be ready for some NHL action, and with Delorier giving up 3-on-6 shots, would Pat Quinn make that rash decision?
That is the $64,000 question, and he's not exactly battle-tested, Scott, with 5 wins and 20 starts with the Oil Kings. Here's Horkoff, who hits Hemsky in the skate with a shot. John Madden back up ice all by himself for Chicago. Madden checked on the play by Schmid. Back to help out is Horkoff. He loses the puck right in front to Madden, and it glances just off the net. In front again for Ladd, who couldn't control the pass from Madden. Back to the point. Seabrook fires it towards the net. It's broken up by Horkoff. And Schmid throws it around the boards. Wisnowski can't get it out. Andrew Ladd is there. They're Oilers being out-hustled at every turn now. To their own end, having trouble to get it out. Now they do. Dustin Penner flipping it high, and Edmonton will change. Duncan Keith. Back on the ice is Kane, Taves, and Sharp. Sharp joining Kane and Taves now in this formation. Kane in the corner. Plays it back to the wide-open Hjalmarsson at the point. He can't get the shot with Reddick's right in front of him. Taves in behind the goal. Plays it back to Brian Campbell. Campbell to Taves. Taves turning away with the puck. A cycle going now with Kane on the puck. Kane turning the high slot. Fires it. Knocked down by Staios. Taves picks up the loose puck. Jonathan Taves. Patrick Kane. A saucer pass right on the stick of Campbell. He leaves it for Taves. In the corner now, and this is like a 5-ring circus. Fans getting antsy, beginning to boo their team as the Oilers have trouble getting the puck. It's on sharp stick. Now, Sure manages to play it up the ice, but not out. Flip back in deep. Here's Taves coming right in front. Knocked off the puck by Sure. Now Sharp plays it into the skates of Reddick's. Gratuitous bounce to the point. Hjalmarsson plays it all the way around to Patrick Kane. Kane throws it in deep. Taves still with the puck. With the half wall, it's intercepted, and Sure flips it high and down the ice.
Mark, that's an absolute clinic of a shift by the Chicago Blackhawks. And it wasn't only about their skill set. It was their will to compete, their will to move, make plays, and create openings for their teammates. What a shift.
It's a young, very confident team, and when you just let them build even more confidence by controlling the puck, they can dazzle you, and that's what they just did to the Oilers. Morrow up the left wing. Ryan Patulny now firing it on goal into the shoulder of UA. Rebound goes in behind the net. Ethan Morrow overskates the puck, which Teague can't find it. Patulny plays it to the captain. Morrow's attempt to get it to the point was intercepted by Bufflin. The big man plays it off the glass in the zone. Eager and Bufflin in deep for Chicago. Bufflin tries to come out in front. Gilbert got in front of him, but that looked awfully disorganized in front of the Edmonton zone. Pagliano to the left wing. Ethan Morrow fires it into the skates of Sokol. Eager can't get it out. Now he does, as we get caught in the equipment of Horkoff. Wisnowski at center ice for Edmonton, flipping it in. Horkoff getting chased. Barker is there first, all the way around. Troy Brouwer penned along the boards by Schmid. Back in deep and cut. Barker off the glass. Duncan Keith headmans the puck. Eager near the end of his shift. Ahead to Brouwer. Brouwer inside the Edmonton zone by himself. In a line change again for Chicago. Brouwer taking on 3 Oilers in the Edmonton corner. Pokes it free and gets it back to the point. One Chicago player outworking all 3 Oilers. Lovin airborne now. It comes just outside the line, and Seabrook had to back up on the play.
can't have one man out-battle and out-will three guys for the puck. And that's exactly what just happened there with Troy Brouwer winning that battle for the Hawks.
Wisnowski swallowing in his own zone. Now to the neutral zone, ahead to the left side. Hemsky turning away from Kane. Manages to get it across to Horkoff. Horkoff now, his pass looking for Soiree off a stick and knocked down by Kopecky. Kopecky plays it inside the Edmonton end. Horkoff bounce pass to the left wing. Chipped by Steos. Sharp knocked it down. It's on the stick of Kopecky in the high slot. He fires at the rebound, smothered by Delorier. As Colin Fraser gets a little chin music in front of the Edmonton goal on Hockey Night in Canada.
You know, I can't count how many times I tried to quit smoking. Then I talked to my doctor, and now I see quitting in a whole new way. It was my time to quit.
Speak to your doctor. It could be your time to quit.
Your Chevrolet dealer has the hottest toys of the season. Like Malibu, winner of the Consumer's Digest Best Buy Award. Or Equinox, the most fuel-efficient crossover on the highway. And Traverse, with more cargo space than Honda Pilot. Get yours now with up to $9,000 in cash credit, plus for a limited time, a $1,000 holiday bonus, and our 60-day satisfaction guarantee. Chevrolet's New Toy, New Joy event, only at your Chevrolet dealer.
Looking for great value? Try our delicious classic menu with sandwiches for just $3.29 every day. Subway. Think fresh. Eat fresh.
Curling. Every limited edition Vancouver 2010 glass you buy helps Canadian athletes. Only at Petro-Canada.
I wanted to quit smoking, but even with willpower, it was tough. Then I talked to my doctor, and now I see quitting in a whole new way. It was my time to quit.
Speak to your doctor. It could be your time to quit.
Brent Seabrook's being embraced by Chicago fans. He's in our Hockey Night bio presented by Subway Restaurants. The Brent Seabrook Ice Bowl last Saturday raised $50,000 for the Inner City Council for Education in Chicago. By the way, Seabrook's former teammate on the Pacific Vipers, Colin Fraser, says there's a reason Seabrook is so good. Fraser says as a kid, Seabrook had great skills, but he'd fall down a lot when he took a shot because his head was so big. Fraser said it took a while, but Seabrook finally grew into his head, and that's made all the difference, Mark.
Here's Patrick Kane, point blank, and stopped by Delorier as the Hawks win another face-off and generate another scoring chance. Next week on Little Moss, Reverend Thorne's advertising campaign makes some people cross. Don't miss Little Mosque on the Prairie, Monday at 8:30 on CBC. Patrick Taves checking in the NHL with winning 62.8% of his faceoffs, wins another one. Right to Kane, he throws it right on goal, and Delorier holds on for another whistle.
Well, part of the reason, Mark, that the Hawks are doing so well on the faceoffs is they're actually supporting each other. These guys are just ready to jump in. The draw's one. Look at the interchange here by Kane. It's a nice play. So it's not only the guy taking the draws, it's everybody else out there as well.
Puck glances off the stick of Delorier. Steos up to Hemsky, a wide open left wing. Horkoff now with Penner going to the net. Long shot gloved by Huey just as Penner arrived on the doorstep. That's the dilemma of playing Chicago when they're winning so many faceoffs and get control of the puck. What do you do?
Well, that's the thing, but it's how they get control. Part of the reason they're able to get control is the Oilers continue trying to force pucks up the board so far in this first period, as opposed to bringing it back behind their own net, reversing the puck. And here's a look at John Madden, who's one of the best defensive players in the game, former New Jersey Devil and Selke winner.
John Madden ranks 6th in the league right now, winning 57.9% of his faceoffs. Dustin Penner relieving Horkoff in the faceoff circle. And Madden wins this one. He gets it back to Duncan Keith. Horkoff with that injured shoulder that cost him 3 games just recently has had trouble on the faceoffs. He's the best man in the faceoff circle for the Oilers, so we've seen Penner take more draws for him in the offensive zone. Penner plays it ahead off the skate of Andrew Ladd. There's Hemsky breaking it up, tried to center it, but John Madden was there covering for Chicago. Wisnowski, spin around the move there, can't play it in deep. Now Seabrook flipping it high and bouncing it inside the Edmonton zone in the final minute of this first period. Stretch pass. Liam Reddix has the line, leaves it for O'Sullivan. A drag move and a low shot. And UA saw that one all the way. Versteeg can't get it out. Strudwick keeps it at the line. Off the skate of Bufflin. Quickly picked up by Duncan Keith with his stretch pass. Broken up at the Oiler line. Strudwick. Tom Gilbert. Ahead to Ethan Morrow. Shadowed by Chris Versteeg. Gets it to Strudwick, who hammers it inside the zone. Sullivan picks up the puck on the far boards, turning at the half wall. Saucer pass. Gilbert, a shot whacked out of the air by Versteeg, and Chicago gets it to center. Gilbert again, flipping it high off the glass. Here comes Cogliano with some jets, pasting Hjalmarsson into the boards. Pinching into the corner, Wisnowski. It goes right to the stick of Campbell and off of Fraser's skate. As the horn sounds to end this first period, the shots on goal, 9-9, Chicago and Edmonton. But the Hawks with a 3-1 lead, taking advantage of Edmonton's giveaways in their own end. Here's Scott.
Mark, the Hawks giving the Oilers fits with their speed and cycle game in the first. We hope to talk with Sheldon Surrey next, with the Hawks leading 3-1 after 1 on Hockey Night in Canada. After the second period here in Edmonton, Brian Bickle of Chicago got the worst of that first period collision with Dustin Penner and will not return tonight. But look at what the Oilers have had to contend with respect to injuries. 120 man games lost on Thursday. They had 8 forwards, 13 players at all at practice, and this is when they're starting to get healthy. The flu and concussions have been the big culprits here. They say every team's got to play through injuries, Mark, but the Oilers have almost been overwhelmed.
No question, and to add insult to injury, Abby Boulin has a back problem on the day of the game and can't dress tonight. Mike Pomeroy had the swine flu. Now he's got mono, and he's got to stay away from the team.
It's been crazy. Everybody has to be quarantined on this team, Mark. I don't know what's been happening here, if it's something in the air in Edmonton, unfortunately. But yeah, the injury bug, the illness bug has definitely crashed here on the Oilers so far.
J.F. Jacques finally back in the lineup after missing 7 with a back problem. You know, it's been so bad that at one point this week they only had 8 forwards at practice.
Yeah, last time I had that was minor hockey.
John Madden, who was 4 of 5 in the first period, wins another one here in the second. And Ladd tips it past Staios down the ice. Surrey back to get it for icing, and Sheldon Surrey has been credited with the first period goal, his first of the season. That was originally awarded to Dustin Penner, so it's Surrey. That was his first goal tonight from Penner and Horkoff.
Yeah, well, good to have Sheldon Surrey back in the lineup. He's a huge cog in this Oilers team, and he's going to generate a lot of his offense from the blue line. Now that he's healthy, they definitely missed him.
Just his 4th game back after suffering that frightening-looking concussion in the 3rd game of the season when the Flames captain Jerome McGinley took him crashing from behind into the end board. Madden along the half wall, plays it to Ladd. Brouwer back to Madden, who shot off the skate of Penner. Brouwer now to Ladd, a shot right on. There's the rebound. It dangled momentarily before picked up by Delorier. Look when he uses his blocker glove to grab that.
That was a Hasek move right there. Dominic Hasek was the originator of that move. And sometimes, folks, that's a smart play for a goalie, because rather than trying to do it right technically, you just want to actually get that puck and regain possession. Good positional save, and you see that desperation. And that's one of the things that made Dominic Hasek so great. He was always desperate, always wanted to make the save.
Wisnowski, a bounce pass. Dug past Horkoff to Hemsky. A bouncing puck in the zone, chopped out and down the ice by Brian Campbell. Wisnowski back to get it for Edmonton. The Oilers had such a terrific start to the season. 4th place in the Western Conference in the first 10 games, and then the injuries and the illness has put them into a huge hole, winning 2 of their last 12.
Yeah, the injuries have definitely plagued them, and it's changed their chemistry that they had. They had a good thing going, Mark. They were playing much more physical, to the liking of Pat Quinn, establishing more of a physical presence, hitting, good forecheck, and that got away from them when they had the injuries.
Bufflin keeps it in at the line, down low. Versteeg loses control of it. Now he jumps on it again in front of Schmid, who had 2 giveaways that resulted in Chicago goals in the first period. Hjalmarsson a shot, glancing off the skate of Wisnowski down the ice. A race for it. Reddix is there first for Edmonton all by himself. And Versteeg, what a magnificent back check to get back and break it up. Puck is shot out of play and into the Oilers bench. As we take this moment to remind you, the 2009 HomeSense Skate Canada International continues tomorrow from Kitchener at 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific, on the full CBC network with the ladies free skate. Coverage on Bold begins at noon Eastern with the free dance available on the main network at 8 p.m. local time tomorrow night.
Everybody's always enamored with the skill set of the Chicago Blackhawks, but again, it's the hard work. Great back check by Chris Versteeg there in that last play.
I thought you were going to say the skill set of Joanie Rochette.
Or Craig Simpson, for that matter.
There you go. Chalmerson to his partner, Brian Campbell. Wheeling to center ice now. He'll gain the zone, leaving it to Kopecky. His long shot blocked by Strudwick. Kopecky plays it off the end glass now, barging his way into the Edmonton zone. Kopecky trying to ward off Tom Gilbert. Here comes Ethan Morrow, jabbing at the puck, kept in by Chalmerson along the line to the high slot. Bufflin can't get the shot away as he's tied up by Strudwick. Now Ethan Morrow across the line, his pass to Cogliano, cutting right in, and he hit the side of the net going short side. Oh, a glorious opportunity for Cogliano. Back up ice, it's Bufflin, a 2-on-1. Gilbert gets back into play, and the Oilers break it up. It's Cogliano, leaving it for a dashing Sheldon Souray. In behind the goal, Cogliano fencing forward. Bufflin plays it around, off the stick of Sharp. It comes right to Potoni, and his shot just misses. Taves to Bufflin. Buffalo had that terrific playoff. Bit of a slow start this season. A big man with a lot of finesse and promise.
Big man, real huge man, and played actually in the Western League, Minnesota native. But watch this heads-up play by Andrew Cogliano, and more importantly, great pass by the veteran, the captain, Ethan Morrow. And you see the Oilers are badly in need of secondary production. Cogliano is one example of that. Look at the numbers there in this graphic, and that's one of the things that's really bitten the Oilers so far this season. It's been their lack of secondary production offensively.
Cogliano mired in that slump, 1 goal in his last 16 games. Could be headed to therapy if this keeps up. Here's Gagne now, right into the high slot. A stick check by Duncan Keith. And a penalty coming, a hooking call against Chicago, as the Oilers will get a chance to go on the power play. It's Brent Seabrook headed to the penalty box.
Pat Quinn putting this energy line together here, and Sam Gagner playing on this line. And this is what he wants to see. Guys driving the net, driving the lanes, and using their speed. And you see Sam Gagner here with a nice fake, just taking it straight to the center lane drive, drawing a couple defenders, and generating a power play.
Gagner, another one of those Oilers who could use a goal. Souray plays it back. Wisnowski, Hemsky at the half wall.
2 minutes for hooking.
At the point now, Wisnowski, Souray, a shot right on, and Rouet had the angle covered there. Versteeg turning away from Souray, plays it to center ice. Seabrook off for hooking at 3:15. And the Oilers, who scored 3 power play goals in their last 2 games, have the man advantage here, down by 2. Hemsky leaves it for Penner, playing it back on the boards, broken up by Brent Sopel, who hammers it off the boards and hits Mike Civic at center ice. Deep in the Oilers zone, Souray turns away from Troy Brouwer. This is the number 2 penalty kill unit in the NHL right now from Chicago. They can dangle and they can check. Hemsky back to the point. Souray with a big shot. Doesn't get it away now. He does a wrist shot that is blocked by Chalmerson. At the line, Souray keeps it in, firing it high off the glass, just missing the net. Hemsky backing up high along the near boards. Still has the puck at the half wall. Setting it up. Back to the point. Souray with a clear lane. Waits. A sprawling Taves manages to force him wide, and he had no angle on the shot. Hemsky. D to D. Wisnowski broken up by Taves. It's a 2-on-1 shorthanded with Sharp. Jonathan Taves right in, and he shot it off the side of the net. A bouncing puck comes up ice in transition. A 4-on-2, a 3-on-2 now. Wisnowski in the high slot throws it off the skate of Campbell, and back up ice in transition. John Madden waits, gets around Gilbert, addresses him. Madden in front and gloved, scooped up by Delorier, and a shorthanded opportunity there for the Hawks.
Again, it's puck management. You talk puck management, and that's one of the things that, again, has crept into the Oilers' game this year. Look at Wisnowski here. He's a better player than this. He's got better skill, and he just absolutely gives this one away to Jonathan Taves, who comes down and almost makes him pay for a shorty.
Wisnowski deadly on the power play, leading the Oilers with 3 power play goals so far this year, but nearly sent one the other way. John Madden, another face-off win. Onto the stick now of Versteeg, who chips it to the boards. Tom Gilford, who was benched for most of the last 2 periods of the Colorado game because of giveaways, manages to get it out. Now Gagne has the puck chopped off his stick by Fraser. Now he gets it to Patrick O'Sullivan. O'Sullivan dishes the puck. A long shot there. A rebound. There's another chance. And the Oilers putting some pressure on us. Batumi got a couple of whacks at him. He's had 2 goals in 6 games since being called up from Springfield. Back in his own end, it's Gilbert turning away from Buffalo. No shots on goal on the power play for the Oilers. Seabrook back and out of the sin bin. Strudwick, big hit, always just hammered into the boards by Bufflin. Almost a tag team effort there from Fraser as well. Strudwick ahead to Cogliano. He fires it in the corner. Brulé in deep. Now the Oilers beginning to get physical again. Kane sidesteps a hit from Brulé. Van Eager turns it over. Cogliano plays it back to his defense. Sheldon Souray jumping the rush. Playing it high over top of the head of Reddick and into the zone. Here comes Brulé on the hit. An icing call there as Hjalmarsson takes a shot, and now Sopel and the rest of the Hawks take objection. Gilbert Brulé on that icing chase, knocking Hjalmarsson into the end boards heavily.
Trying to create a little something for his team. Gilbert Brulé again with the speed. You see the icing, and he just finishes his check.
He's going to get a penalty, though.
That's it. And Hjalmarsson, as you know, has been the target of a lot of big hits here so far tonight.
Tell you what, Strudwick's a big man, and he does not go down easily, but that was a heck of a wallop. It's Buffalo and Fraser, a tag team with 224.5 pounds at 6'4" is Strudwick, and so an ill-advised penalty by Gilbert Brulé on that race for the boards. For the puck in the end boards, he's off for roughing at 6:18. And now this power play, Chicago that scored 4 power play goals against Calgary on Thursday, goes to work with a 3-1 lead here in the second. Duncan Keith on the boards. It's kept going by Sharp all the way around to Taves. Taves, saucer pass too far for Brian Campbell. And it comes all the way back into Chicago end. Keith winding up. Leaves it for Campbell. Campbell into the zone. Bounce pass in behind Taves. Gobbles it up and throws it deep again. Ray Brower is there along with Taves, shoveling it back to the point. Duncan Keith now moving the puck, firing it towards the net. Tipped by Brower just wide. Brower has 4 power play goals to lead Chicago so far this year. Here's Duncan Keith in the middle of the ice, firing it. Tipped by Souray into the glass. Souray plays it ahead. Batumi gets it to center, hits the linesman, and they can't get it deep. Sharp throws it back in his own end. Keith, a long pass to the blue line. Brower around the boards. Here comes Patrick Kane. He leaves it for Versteeg. Versteeg all alone walks in front and finally checked from behind by O'Sullivan. And Barker now. Versteeg to Barker at the circle. His shot just wide. Brower tried to get his stick on it. Troy Brower camped in front. Here's a shot from Barker. The rebound cleared away by Staios. Ethan Morrow now. Some thunder on Versteeg, and the Oilers will finally get it down the ice.
Well, the Hawks, again, showing why they're so skilled, but just very simple power play. Contrast that to the Oilers. The Hawks with 4 shots from the point here.
Patrick Kane now dangling in the zone. Off the boards, back to Barker. Wide open is Seabrook. He's got the pass. Seabrook lines, fires. Tipped and stopped by Delorier, and Bufflin in front, pushing with Schmid, and gets a headlock from Strudwick as they renew acquaintances after that big hit a few moments ago.
Make that 5-point shots. Again, simple. Brent Seabrook getting that shot from the point, and the Hawks defensemen do something better than most defenses and most teams in the league is by getting shots from the point. They do such a fantastic job of that. All of their defensemen can do it and do it very well. And Dustin Bufflin establishing that net front presence for the Hawks there.
Oilers managed to get it out. Final 10 seconds of this Chicago power play, and Seabrook will have to double back. Here's an interesting statistic from Dave Moyer, our statistician tonight in Alberta. Chicago has outscored Alberta teams 2 in the last 4 periods. Fertile ground indeed for the Blackhawks. Dustin Penner bounces it behind the boards, too far for Horcoff. Hemsky is there to Horcoff. Away from Madden, nicely back to the point. Gilbert fires it just wide. Hemsky quick on the puck with some jump in the corner. Back to the blue line. Long wrist shot for Strudwick, knocked down by Seabrook. He's looking for a stretch pass. Gets it ahead to Ladd. Wide open is John Madden. He fires it. Pad save the rebound. Cleared by Strudwick. Madden with the puck at the circle. Back to the point. Brian Campbell knocks it off Madden. Here's a chance on a breakaway for O'Sullivan. Too far as Huet comes out 20 feet to break it out. In transition now, Ladd in the high slot. And a pad save by Delorier. Madden turns around and fires a wide-angle shot that's gloved by Delorier with Patrick O'Sullivan. Thinking about this one, just a few steps too far as Huet comes out to break it up.
Chicago leads by 2 here, and consider that for as well as it's been going for the Blackhawks, at some point in this 6-game road trip, they'll be adding 40 goals in Marian Hossa, their big off-season signing, who no sooner signed from Detroit than he had to have shoulder surgery. But Hossa is at last skating full out and will probably make his Hawks debut Wednesday in San Jose. Guessing is he'll play in a line with Kane and Taves, a trio that should get the attention of the Sharks and every other opponent thereafter.
Yes, imagine adding a 40-goal scorer to this juggernaut right now. The interesting thing about the Hawks, though, is they're getting scoring from everybody. It's not like a team relying on Patrick Kane or Jonathan Taves or Duncan Keith to do all the scoring. In fact, in that 7-1 win over Calgary, 14 different Hawks were involved in the scoring.
I love that. Balanced scoring is what you need to be successful in the National Hockey League.
Brian Campbell skis through everybody now. Plays it back to the line. A long shot. Hjalmarsson hits the back of the boards. It bounces to Eager. Kopesky can't get his shot through traffic. And there's a chance for Fraser in front. Banging away. There's a garbage puck bounced in front. Hjalmarsson back to Brian Campbell. At his own end. Shifty defenseman. With a spin move on Cogliano. Cogliano tried to line him up. And the Hawks get it deep. Kopesky breaks it up. It comes right to Ladd. Ladd fans of the shot. Gets it back. Fans again. Parkoff tying him up. Now Ladd reaches. Gets the puck. Plays it in front off the skate of Delorier on a weird bounce that nearly fooled the Edmonton netminder. Ladd with 2 or 3 opportunities for Chicago.
Right on. Ladies and gentlemen.
Duncan Keith leads the way on a very prolific defense that has amounted to 59 points so far from the blue line.
And one of the reasons, Mark, is these guys are among the best in the league at getting point shots. This last power play was an absolute clinic in getting shots from your point and generating offense from your defense in a very simple manner. Shots from the point, traffic, that's been the hallmark for the Hawks offensively so far.
Keith with 18 points. And a great start for him. And don't you know he's the best candidate for Canada in the Olympic team out of Chicago. Up ice, Penner steaming along, tries to take it off Keith. A rolling puck over the stick of Horcoff. Down the Taves. Off the glass, chasing it is Kane. It goes too far, and Wisnowski is back for it. Wisnowski now wary of Kane. Now he breaks up the chase, and Ladd tries to head him off. Wisnowski manages to get it to center ice. Horcoff looking for the puck. Picked up again by Wisnowski, leaving it for Hemsky. Hemsky tied up by 3 Hawks and turns it over. Here's a 2-on-1 chance. And getting back into play is Wisnowski. Bounces onto the stick of Brouwer. A high shot. A chance in front. They score. John Madden at the back door for Chicago.
Chicago Blackhawks and Andrew Ladd doing big work defensively, transitioning the puck the other way. Watch Andrew Ladd and Brent Seabrook with the help defense here, and John Madden. 3 Hawks in the picture. Leads to the turnover, generates this opportunity here. Troy Brouwer, again, simple, shot on net, traffic, and John Madden, the benefactor, standing at the back door. Great work defensively, again, which led to the offensive opportunity.
What about the work defensively by Edmonton there? The puck sat on the doorstep and was not cleared.
Well, that's what Coach Patrick talked about, being more physical in front of your net and wanting to battle in your own zone.
John Madden with his 4th goal of the season, the Stanley Cup champion, coming as a free agent from New Jersey, adding some experience with his young team. There's another shot from the point. And it's Barker driving that one into the midsection of Delorier. Madden from Ladd and Brower at 11:02 and a 4-1 lead for Chicago. Madden coming off perhaps his worst season last year in New Jersey was a -7, the second worst in the team, had 23 points, which was his lowest total since the 99-2000 season.
Again, John Madden just in the back door on the far post there, uncontested. Taps that in.
Cogliano to the left side. Morrow back in front off the side of the net, too far for a reaching Cogliano. Buffalo banging with Petulli. On the boards, Van Eager takes a whack at it. Now they get it out to center. Covering on the play is Cogliano. Picking up speed now and chasing. Getting in behind Eager, first to the puck in the corner, and knocked off it unceremoniously by Barker. Eager along the near boards. Edge of his speed, he can't reach it. Morrow shovels it right back in. The shots here in the second period, 12-3. Chicago. Tom Gilbert. Sam Gagner. Gagner to the line. Here comes Gilbert getting in the rush. He plays it right through the crease. Nobody there. Jacques was the nearest thrower. And it careens all the way back to center. Gagner. Wheeling back in his own end. Now picking up speed as they set the rush. Gagner's backhand pass broken up by Ladd. And it comes to Madden. Back on the ice for Chicago. He leaves it for Brent Stoffel behind the Chicago net. Winging it around the boards. It's intercepted by Wisniewski. Passes it through Gagner. Takes a shot from Brower but gets it deep. Madden now. Off the shin pads of Hemsky, who gets the return pass from Gagner. Back to Gagner. Wisniewski backing up. Can't get the shot as the puck rolls over his stick. In the corner. Alex Hemsky. Quinn wants him to shoot more and be less of a setup man. They can't make a play there. It's chopped back inside the Chicago end.
Part of the reason why Pat Quinn wants him to shoot more is to keep the defense honest.
Here's Ladd fanning on a shot. In the high slot again. A chance for Brower and he misses. How about Andrew Ladd? He's had about 4 chances in the last 3 or 4 minutes.
Andrew Ladd's been fantastic here tonight. He's been everywhere.
He plays it back. Jalmerson off the boards. Caves finding it, then he can't. And sent right back in. A bouncing puck steered to the side by UA. Campbell around the boards. Patrick Kane, 21-year-old American from Buffalo. He'll be playing for the U.S., you know that. On a career-high 5-game scoring streak with 1 again tonight. And Strudwick gets it inside the zone. Oilers now turning back the breakout for Chicago. They're a little frustrated. Now Campbell, right side. Taves hammers it in the zone. Sharp knocks down Gilbert. Comes free. Ethan Morrow picks it up for Edmonton. Turning away from pressure, he'll lead the rush. Charging to center. Away from the back check of Taves. Ron Kopecky bulldozing his way over Brent Seabrook. Duncan Keith flipping it high. Kopecky into the zone. Thomas Kopecky, a big fat rebound. Knocked away from Bufflin on the play by Steve Staios. Kopecky again in front. Staios, or rather Bufflin, getting the shot just through Staios and Surrey. Surrey uses the stick on Bufflin to try to knock him off the play. And now the Oilers send in their zone. Penner chips at it. It bounces high into the air. Loved by Staios to the line and finally out on the stick of Ethan Morrow. Long pass off the skates of Bufflin from Seabrook. At center, a little choppy to play here in the second period. Keith plays it back to his partner Seabrook up the right wing. Fraser will chip it in. Here comes Van Eager with some energy. A nice play there by Surrey to definitely move the puck to his partner. Staios along the boards. JF shots at center. Broken up by Brent Stoffel. Now Jacques getting physical with Eager at the benches. It was chipped in by Brower, who took a headshot from Surrey. Kept on charging as the physical game begins to pick up here on the ice.
Yeah, it's definitely gotten a lot more physical, and the Oilers are going to need that. Surrey here and Steve Staios in the corner battling with Brower, and this might be a little bit of a build over and a bubble over from the battle that they had with Justin Bufflin.
Giveaways in the Edmonton end have been a huge issue for Pat Quinn on this Oiler Hockey Club, and we've seen lots of it tonight.
You got to want the puck if you want to be successful in the National Hockey League. This one here was a bad one by Smead that led to the goal. Wisniewski, as Mike Milbury mentioned in the intermission, bailout package on the sidewall. Another one hit heads-up play by Brent Sopel. Too often, too many times, giving the puck away from the Oilers here today.
And they have relied on Nick Happy-Bulin because of it, trying to hold the fort, if you will. He has faced the third most shots in the NHL coming into tonight's action, 604. But could not play because of a back problem today, and so they don't have Happy-Bulin to soak up all the giveaways.
Exactly, Mark. And you've got to manage the puck in the NHL. You have to manage the puck.
Shots 23-12 right now in favor of Chicago as Brule crashes the zone. Now Versteeg, a nice move away from Brule, or rather Reddick's, but another drag move that turned O'Sullivan inside out. Fancy dangling there by the Hawks. Up to Reddick's, tipping it, but right onto the stick of John Madden. There's Brower leaving it for Madden, back to the point. Campbell across to Charmelson. His shot through traffic and hit Wisniewski. It's still loose in the slot. Fanning on it is Madden. Now O'Sullivan will take it out of his own end. The center, O'Sullivan. Not much jump. You know, there's a lot of speed on this Edmonton team, but that was another thing Quinn was saying today. Pat Quinn was telling us he wants to see his players use their speed. They're lugging the puck, not moving the puck. They're not moving it fast enough. Chipped in by John Madden. As the Blackhawks go for a change, and Tom Gilbert has all kinds of space to lead the rush for Edmonton. Gilbert right onto the stick of Keith. In transition, Taves can't reach it. Strudwick is there at center to fire it in. Broken up by Seabrook. Be across to Keith. The Hawks use so much of the ice so quickly with their great passing. Now Kane at the half boards. Turning away from the check. Away from Penner, who's lost his stick. Leaving it now for Keith. Back down low for Kane. Kane away from Stortini. Still with it on the boards. It comes out as he tries to pass it along the blue line.
It's all about support with the Hawks. They support each other offensively when they have the puck. They support each other defensively when they don't have the puck.
There's a race for it now. Taves beats Strudwick to the puck. Takes the physical brunt of the hit from Strudwick, and Stortini comes up with it. Taves didn't like that shot as he heads to the bench. Remember, he missed a half a dozen games after the head shot from Willie Mitchell. Fraser, Van Eager, off the boards and in. Pushing and shoving at the blue line as Strudwick knocks him down. Colin Fraser now. Bouncing, chipping, and chasing. In deep, Gilbert with an escape move nicely. Outlets the puck to Sam Gagner. Up the left side. Tagliano fumbling with the puck. He's still got it though at the half wall. Throws it towards the net. A big rebound off the pad save from Huey. Picked up by Ben Eager to center. And Eager was drifted right on goal. Laurier leads it for Steos. A long stretch pass. Hiding in the weeds with Sam Gagner. He can't get the puck through to Brule. It's chipped off the stick of Chalmerson. Campbell. The shoulder check there. He's got pressure as Brule is on him. Brule comes up with the puck for Edmonton. A bounce pass to the line. Shot right on from Souray. Brule can't get to the rebound as it's cleared by Brian Campbell. Steos throws it off the boards and into his own bench for a whistle with 1:12 to go. The fans, don't forget to enter your team into the Scotiabank Kids Contest for a chance to appear on Scotiabank Hockey Tonight. This week it was the Fort Saskatchewan Rangers of Fort Saskatchewan, Alberta. Rangers alumni include Ray Whitney, Joffrey Lupul, and Kyle Chipchura. So go to cbcsports.ca to enter your team. Wisniewski can't hold the puck. Ladd plays it in deep. Centering attempt from Brower comes to the point. Keith down low here in the final minute of the second period. At the line, it's kept in by Seabrook, who takes a hit from J.F. Jacques. Wisniewski camped in behind his own goal. Madden, the only man deep on the forecheck for Chicago. Pass it center to Brule, bouncing off his stick. Madden back up ice for Patrick Sharp. Sharp can't reach the puck. And it's Ladislav Schmid leading the rush for Edmonton. Return pass from O'Sullivan doesn't get to Schmid. And a delayed penalty coming here is Seabrook and Jacques push and shove after the fact. And a penalty coming to Chicago.
Well, this could be just what the doctor ordered for the Oilers. 30 seconds to play here in the second and going on the power play. And this one looks like it'll be assessed to Jonathan Toews.
So holding the stick call to Jonathan Toews as he heads to the penalty box. 30 seconds to go in the second period. Oilers get the draw. Penner beating Madden on that one. Taves for holding at 19:30. Here's a chance for Surrey. A wrist shot right on. The rebound to Horkoff. And he can't convert. UA right there to make this stop for Chicago. At the line, kept in by Surrey. Throwing it towards the net. Here's a chance for Penner. Penner checked on the play by Madden. Surrey tries to play it in front. Final 5 seconds. The puck goes out of play in the Oilers bench.
Well, I like the recipe here by the Oilers on this power play so far. Simple. Get that puck back to those big shots in Surrey and Wisniewski and just put pucks in the net. Doesn't have to be the full-fledged slapper. Half slapper, wrister, whatever it takes. Get pucks in the net.
Sean Horkoff with 3 points in his last 3 games. Beginning to find his form. Penner gets the draw. Shot right on by Steos. Glancing off the side of the net. There's a chance. Hensky shoots it off. UA and scores. 0.1 second left on the clock. The slimmest of margins left on the clock as Hemsky banks it off UA.
And this is exactly what the Oilers needed. Ales Hemsky making like Pierre Turgeon and shooting that puck from behind the goal line against the goalie from a sharp angle. But this all, again, comes from a good face-off and support. Shot by Surrey. And you'll see Hemsky just throw this puck to the net. And it goes in off of Cristobal Huet. But I also like the Oiler forward charging here. You'll see Horkoff in front of the net, and he's charging hard. And just pokes that puck in there.
UA was all out of sorts and out of position on the play. There's the poke in. Now, did it go off the skate first and then come back out to Horkoff?
You'll see John Madden in there trying to get an explanation from the refs. But if you're the Oilers, this, again, exactly what you had to do. Try to get one here before going in the intermission.
It looked like the clock wasn't moving, though, when the puck went in the net, like it had frozen at 0.1 second. Watch the clock. The clock is not moving when Horkoff jams it in the net. It looks like they stopped the clock with 0.1 of a second left, and that's the debate now as UA talks to the officials. And Brad Meyer is at the officials bench, and this is being looked at in Toronto now. It is Horkoff who poked it in. They're celebrating already here.
But it wasn't in. And then you'll see Horkoff just dive in there at the end. The original shot had it go off of QA. And you'll see it's in his pad. He doesn't know where it is. And he's looking over his shoulder. And it squirts through there. And Horkoff with a heads-up play to try to poke that spear, that puck right in the net.
Question is, would the clock have run out before Horkoff put it in?
Well, that's what the Hawks are pleading right now. Again, Jonathan Toews, the captain, he's over there pleading his case. And Cristobal Huet was doing the same thing.
So Brad Meyer with the headset now talking to Toronto. It is Horkoff who managed to punch it in. But the controversy here now is, was the clock stopped? Let's watch this in real time, Kevin.
Folks, take a look at the clock here. This is real time.
It looks like time should have run out, doesn't it?
Yeah, that was great work by our camera crew there. It remains interesting to see if the Oilers, if they don't get this one here, this will be a big blow to the Oilers, Mark, and their confidence going in for the second intermission.
It's interesting. We lose sight of the puck, though, when they're celebrating. It looked like it bounced off the back skate of Huet and then under his pads, but we don't see where it disappeared until Horkoff punched it.
Well, that's one of the things about ice level, and something a lot of people don't recognize is no matter what we do here on TV and the fantastic job that our camera crews do, you know, the game on the ice, there's these little nuances and little details that sometimes you just can't capture. And you'll see this great angle shot here from the net cam. And again, folks, remember, Huet doesn't know where this puck is. And it's right in between his legs there. You'll see it's right beneath him. And alertly, Horkoff just dives forward and spares this puck.
There it is, right there, underneath him. And now, the judgment call has to be made to extrapolate what the clock should have, when it should have clicked to zero, where the puck would have been. Because clearly, it froze at .1.
It did freeze at .1. You're right, Mark. And you can see the official on the phone with Toronto. Sure, they're reviewing this in the war room back home in Toronto. And it'll be interesting to see what comes of this here. You see the Oilers take a look at their bench here. Some guys look pretty dejected, and guys are just hoping right now that this goal stands for the Oilers.
And that is the dilemma here tonight. There was officially .1 second left on the clock. A clock that froze, stopped ticking in the last second as Horkoff punched it between the legs of UA.
Well, if I'm in the Oilers locker room, folks, coming in this intermission, I'm going to say, guys, hey, listen, we've done this before. We just came back the last game against the Avalanche. We turned it up a notch. We played simple, meat and potatoes hockey. We were physical, and we wanted it. We wanted to come back and respond, and they came back and won that game.
Let's listen to see if the whistle came. The crowd's already celebrating, and the Oilers are celebrating, and the horn came on. Here's the call now from Brad Meyer.
You determined that the puck crossed the line after the time on the clock should have expired. No goal.
There you go. And there's the reaction here at Rexall Place. The clock should have ticked to zero before freezing at .1 of a second as Ethan Morrow pleads the Oiler case. And Horkoff will not have the goal. And there is the official horn to end this second period on a controversial note. But I think fairness prevailed.
Fairness does prevail in this case. And they went back to the war room in Toronto, and this is the call.
Chicago outshooting Edmonton 14-7 in the second for a two-period total of 23-16 and a 4-1 lead on John Madden's fourth of the season. Scott?
Okay, Mark, the Oilers thought they had some life, but I guess not now. Chris Versteeg has scored 3 in his last 2 games, 1 tonight. We'll get a word from him next with the Hawks leading 4-1.
The Oilers will start the third period on the power play with 1:30 left in the holding penalty to Jonathan Taves. As we get underway here in the third after that wild finish to the second period when the clock had 1/10 of a second left on it as Horkoff poked the puck into the net with what he thought was a goal, and upon further review it was overruled as the clock had frozen long before it should have elapsed. And by long, I mean a few tenths of a second. So it's a 4-1 hockey game here in the third. The Oilers trying to build off that excitement to end the second with the power play. They're 0 for 1 tonight. What has been a very cleanly played hockey game.
Very clean so far. And again, now the Oil here with this opportunity on the power play, they have to simplify things. Look for them to just get a clean entry and just get shots from every angle.
Trying to beat the second-ranked penalty kill unit in the NHL right now in Chicago. Hawks have killed off 86% of their penalties so far this year. Here's Wisnowski at the line to the half boards. Hemsky wide open with Staios. He fires it high and wide. Final 20 seconds now of the Oiler power play. Loose puck. Penner plays it in front. Hemsky back to the point. Wisnowski with a howitzer off the catching glove of UA. Another chance, Wisnowski. Staios. Down goes Versteeg. Shot right on. They score! Penner with the deflection in front. Just as Taves got out of the box.
Talk about heads-up play by Steve Staios on the blue line. Great poise. Great play. Wisnowski, watch this fake. Watch that fake. Two fakes by Steve Staios. Again, shot from the point. And watch the job by the big man, Dustin Penner, in front of the net. He gets lost in behind the defenders. Look at Sopel. Sopel doesn't know that he's there. And he just wins that battle. Sneaks in behind him. Nice deflection, 5-hole. Great little sequence by the Oilers on that power play.
Now Dustin Penner gets his 13th of the year. Thought he had one in the first, which was awarded to him, but was later given to Sheldon Soren. But Penner, who's having a hallmark year here in Edmonton, has drawn his team to within 2 early in this third period of play. Pass comes all the way back outside the line as Brian Campbell was late getting inside. It is a power play goal with 1 second left on the holding penalty to Jonathan Toews. And there's a turnover. O'Sullivan in front of Campbell, a backhand, a big rebound. Comes back to Schmid. Schmid right in the corner, behind the net. O'Sullivan plays it right through the slot. Back to center ice. Chicago in a change. Here's Schmid up front, getting the pass from Wisnowski, but can't get the shot away. As Duncan Keith got back to break it up. In behind the net, it comes out. Cleared to the side by Keith. Smartly up the right wing to Ben Eager. Eager inside the Edmonton line. His shot glancing off the shin pad, and told me he's wincing in pain off that shot. Now he's first to the corner for it. Edmonton can't get it out. Byfuglien in the slot. He scored. That thought it went in. Oh, that was so close. Off the post. Another shot right in. And Delorier will hang on. And they push and shove after the whistle as Byfuglien went high and thought he had one.
Well, Dustin Byfuglien here walks out, absolutely wires this puck, and it looked like it may have even been tipped in front of the net here. Take a second look at the overhead here. I'm not sure if that puck wasn't tipped in front of the net, but what a shot. Great shot by Dustin Byfuglien. Good save by Delorier on the second puck to calm things down and get a face-off.
That would have been a demoralizing goal had it gone in for the Oilers. Fought their way back into this one. Now down by 2. The Oilers have a woeful record when they're not first on the scoreboard, and that's the case here tonight as Horkoff goes wide, tries to play it in front. Tanner pushing and shoving, and UA will get a whistle.
Well, part of the reason why Dustin Penner is so successful this year and why he's scoring so many goals is he's going to the gritty areas. Watch him here establish a presence. Before either of the Hawks defensemen even recognizes he's there, they don't recognize him. Penner's at home. He's at home in front of the net. He's making that his home on a nightly basis. And I like him as an X factor, creating mismatches down low for the opposing defense.
One of the biggest comeback stories of the year in the National Hockey League, that's for sure. A healthy stretch on many occasions last year under Craig McTavish. They didn't get along, and Penner has come back under a new coaching staff with Pat Quinn and rejuvenated his game. And he will be with Scott and Kevin tonight on After Hours. Pass right in front to Brouwer. And he can't get the deflection with Strudwick right there. Brouwer back to the line, but Seabrook has to come outside the zone. Duncan Keith at center. Tipped in by Brouwer. Chicago will change. Both teams now with fresh legs as Gilbert awaits the Edmonton change. Center. Sullivan chopped down by Byfuglien. Gathers the puck up and plays it back to Brian Campbell. Chalmerson. Long stretch pass. Bouncing away from Versteeg. Byfuglien is in there. Now Versteeg has control. Versteeg back to the point. Campbell on the boards to Patrick Sharp, firing it right through the goal mouth. Chalmerson to the half wall. Versteeg. Chalmerson can't get the shot through as Goulet breaks his stick on the block. Here comes Versteeg trying to go backhand, and he lost control of it. At the point, Chalmerson now across to Campbell, a one-timer, the rebound right past Byfuglien, and it's sent down the ice. Liam Reddick's getting it out for Edmonton. Anderson bumping in the middle of the ice. And we'll remind you that it's time now for the Hockey Night in Canada Close-Up, brought to you by Subway Restaurants.
It is Troy Brouwer. Watch the work by Troy Brouwer here on the wall, in the trenches, doing big work all night long. Here again, support defense. You see him here establishing himself down low, protecting the puck. Here he is in front of the net. He's been everywhere tonight, folks. Played extremely well in this road trip so far, and his improved play is really helping the Hawks.
Vancouver native has been a 40-goal scorer in junior in the American League. He's had 6 points during this 5-game winning streak coming in here tonight. And as I mentioned earlier in the broadcast, lead Chicago with 4 power play goals. They like the Campbell in front. Zurin turning away from Jonathan Taves. Bounce pass to Wisniewski. Quickly up to a charging Cogliano. Cogliano to Gagne. Gagne gets in deep. Chips it towards the front of the net. Ethan Morrow wraps around and gets a shot on goal. Patrick Kane now. Long pass too high and behind Taves. Hawks almost look disinterested at this point.
Yeah, and that's Oilers who have to continue to feast.
Here's another giveaway. Eager off the goalpost. Oh my goodness. The Oilers with more charity tonight. That's Schmid's third brutal giveaway of the hockey game. Loose puck is knocked to the far boards. Fraser gives chase. Gets it out to center. And Kopecky now across the Edmonton blue line. Daniel. Down the far side to Tom Gilbert. Hemsky now. Jacques charging. Hemsky dangling across the line. Turning now inside the zone. Leaves it. Strudwick a soft shot. But misses the net. Strudwick around the boards to Jacques. J.F. Jacques keeps it going to Hemsky. Hemsky, a stick check from Kopecky, and he'll lose control when it comes to center. Head to Jacques. Oilers stay onside. Comes around to Seabrook. Seabrook, head to Brouwer. Brouwer with John Madden charging. On the dumping. Madden is there, ahead. Strudwick. Strudwick pitches him along the boards. It comes free. Ladd can't get a shot away. It's kept in by Keith to Brouwer. He leaves it at the half boards for Madden. Throwing it towards the net off the stick of Horkoff. It doesn't get through. Now Tom Gilbert. Overskates the puck. He turns it over. Versteeg tries to center it. Back to the point. Ladd gets it to Keith. His shot. Hits Versteeg. He keeps it in the zone. This Versteeg around the boards. Ladd away from Gilbert. Still with the puck. Head to Versteeg to the blue line. Look at the way Keith skates the line. Gets it across to Campbell. Throwing it around the boards deep. Centering a tip. Fanned on by Ladd. Now Versteeg has it. He's checked on the plate. Horkoff can't get it out. A long shot from Brouwer is right on. As Delorier will hold on for a whistle. Allow the Oilers to regroup. Trapped to their own end. Last game it was Gilbert. Tonight it's Schmid. That's another puck donor clinic for the Oilers.
You can't donate the puck in the National Hockey League. This is just unacceptable. And Schmid does it, and you'll see Tom Gilbert here. You have to want your want-o-meter has to be high. You have to want the puck. You have to want to make plays. You can't be allergic to the puck out there. That's just irresponsible defensive play by the Oilers.
Taves gets the draw to Kane, but he can't reach it. Staios around the glass. The far side, Brulé turns it over to Taves, and it's chopped out. Pat Quinn has talked about this since the start of the year. And the giveaways are killing the Oilers. Here's Patrick Kane setting up. Into the high slot. Puck gets through. Sharp shot. Off the stick and wide. Now Taves with it. He has it knocked off his stick. And Brulé scoops it up. Ahead to O'Sullivan. Backhand pass to Penner. Penner's shot. Just wide all the way around the boards to Staios at the line. Staios gets it through Sharp. Penner turning in front. Right in front. Fires it on goal. A bouncing puck. Bobbled by Huet. At the line, Staios winds and fired. It's deflected off the stick of Taves and out of play. What a frightening, juggling-looking moment there.
That was. And Dustin Penner again doing it down low. Watch him just walk out here and just take this puck strong by 3 Hawk defenders. And folks, this puck goes up in the air, but Huet went to go grab it, but in his defense, Jarlison had his stick up in the air too. So I'm not sure if that may have caused some confusion there.
Huet scored with an error on that play. Wisniewski back in his own end with time to lead this rush. Gagne smoothly through the neutral zone. Morrow goes to the net, leaves it for Cogliano. A shot right on and a pad save as the Oilers rush the net. And there's going to be a penalty to Ethan Morrow as he ran the goalkeeper. And it's an interference call. And the captain heads off, beaking all the way to the penalty box.
Well, Ethan Morrow plays hard, and coming back from that tough hit last game, this guy is definitely a heart and soul player, but this is a tough penalty for the Oilers at this stage of the game, being down by 2. And you'll see on the replay here, Ethan goes in, and he was actually tripped in my eyes anyway. It looks as though he was tripped by Dustin Bufflin.
Bufflin continued to bulldoze him in anyway.
And Dustin Bufflin, with the size advantage, has him by about 3 inches and 35 pounds. So this is a tough call against the Oilers here.
Chicago 0 for 1 on the power play with Ethan Morrow off for goaltender interference at 8:35. Here in the third. Campbell winds, fires, and it glances just wide. Loose puck for Taves. He picks it up. So many of these turnovers inside the Edmonton end. In front, Taves all alone. He scores! Top shelf! The Chicago Blackhawks make swift work of this power play. 17 seconds in.
Mark, you talked about it just now. So many turnovers by the Oilers in their own zone. And again, when you just donate the puck and give these young, skilled, dynamic Blackhawks opportunities, they're going to beat you. And you'll see the Oilers just get mesmerized by the motion. You see both Oilers had absolutely no clue where Jonathan Toews does. He finds great separation through that seam, gets to the quiet ice, uncontested, shelf.
This road trip has been great for Jonathan Toews, who had just 2 goals in 14 games coming in here tonight, and that's his second of this game.
It was, Mark, but a lot of it is how you move without the puck. This is what I like to tell people. It's not only the stars. Don't watch the plays that they make. Watch the motion. Watch Jonathan Toews here. Watch him move. Watch him move and find that quiet ice. And again, a nice pick by Troy Brouwer at the side of the net, which helped to distract the other defenseman as well.
Chicago going high all the time now on Delorier. You notice that?
They have. You're right, Mark. They've been going high, and that's kind of alarming.
Until we can't get through the defense as Duncan Keith heads back up ice. It's a 5-2 hockey game for Stieg right in. He shot off the leg of Sneed and wide. Toby picks it up for Edmonton. Round Bufflin. And it's chopped to center by Stortini back inside the Chicago end. At center, Patrick Sharp gathers the puck and drops it for Duncan Keith. Keith. Walker. Keith. Long pass off the stick of Jacques. Doesn't get in. Now Keith finds Sharp, but it's offside. Oh, he managed to stay outside the zone.
And just to continue your thought on Delorier, Mark, the thing that's alarming for me is he's such a big man, and they're beating him up top regularly tonight. He's not playing big. His hands aren't as active as they need to be.
You're right, he is a big man at 6'4", 189. Good technique for a big man, but he's been porous again tonight. 5 goals on 27 shots by Chicago. As J.F. Jacques gains the Blackhawks line, turning away in the corner. Too far for Horkoff. He can't get there, but Penner does. Penner leaves it right on the stick of Troy Brouwer. Now Keith, a long pass. Andrew Ladd trying to get around Tom Gilbert. He stops along the boards. Plays it to the corner. Madden is there. Brouwer in front. Centering pass off the stick of Strudwick. And out of play. It's all Chicago tonight in a 5-2 lead here midway in the third period.
Blackhawks will be quick out of Edmonton tonight as they play in Vancouver tomorrow night. The first time Jonathan Toews will face Willie Mitchell since Mitchell sent him into a different time zone in Chicago. Toews subsequently missed 6 games with a concussion. This is not to suggest retribution is on the agenda, as even Hawks coach Joel Quenneville said the Mitchell hit was a clean one. Since he's come back, Toews, who's got the pair tonight's also been outstanding in the face-off circle, almost 63% coming into this game, Mark.
Yes, and he's been outspoken about headshots, unafraid to talk about the need to do something about it. And, you know, the NHL Players Association has been very vocal about this, saying something's got to be done, and now it's in the hands of the general manager.
Good for him. I like to see that. I like that. A guy speaking up. It's true. Our players are our product, folks. We need our players to be healthy. We don't want this to be like the NFL on Sunday with a long list of injuries after every night of play in the National Hockey League. I like the little gold tooth that he's got going on the mouth guard, though. I don't know if you noticed that, Mark.
I did. I was waiting for you to make a comment, a fashion statement. That's the gold tooth, the gold standard, and
he's going old school.
And it won't be too long before Toews and Kane and Keith have new renegotiated contracts. Word is that Toews and Kane will get 5-year deals worth $6 million a year, and that Keith's could be as long as 12 or 13 years. We'll take this moment to remind you not to forget to tune in on Tuesday night when Rick rides into Edmonton for the Canadian Finals Rodeo. The Rick Mercer Report, Tuesday at 8 on CBC. I can't wait to see that. I mean, You think he gets on a 2,000-pound bull? I don't think so.
Better him than me, I'll tell you that.
Those are the toughest guys in sport.
Absolutely, you mentioned that. Definitely true.
Long dump in. Staios is there. Down the boards. Cogliano. Ahead. Drop right back to him. Morrow drops it. Shot by Surrey. Right on. Pad save. Another shot from the angle. And it's held on by Huey.
Watching Crystal Ball Huey now, I see shades and visions of what I saw in him watching him in Montreal. He's a lot more competitive than he was earlier at the start of the season. He's a lot more dynamic. He's reacting to pucks. He looks a lot hungrier in the net. Stefan Waite's done a fantastic job with little adjustments and getting his game back on track.
Here's Horkoff with perhaps his first face-off of the night. The top face-off man for the Oilers, not taking any face-offs, I believe, to this point in the game, Kevin, because of that shoulder injury, and Dustin Penner has been doing most of that work and doing a good job with about a 63% rate coming into the third. Ladd, a shot that misses all the way around to the blue line. Seabrook plays it back in deep. Centering attempt. Doesn't get to Madden from Ladd. Now he tries again. It goes off the stick of Staios. He's at the blue line. Down low. Andrew Ladd. Away from Staios. Gets the puck into the skates of Madden. Madden protecting it now. Trying to get by Staios and goes down in a heap. Surrey gets his stick on. Staios shovels it this way. Henner chops it off the boards and past Seabrook.
Well, the Oilers going for some fresh life. Both teams actually changing here. And the Oilers definitely need to get something going here if they want to have any chance of mounting a comeback against these Hawks.
Taves loses the puck momentarily, gathers it back up. Duncan Keith, Patrick Kane now. His pass intercepted on the back check by Penner. Penner ahead to Brulé. With there Brulé, a stick check from Sharp. Chopped ahead to him. Up the left wing, it's Kane. Dangling with his mouth guard in his teeth. Drops the puck now. Here's a chance now for Campbell. Steaming in, and his wrist shot gloved by Delorier.
Well, that's the type of glove save I expected to see more of from young Jeff Delorier tonight. But Dustin Penner tonight has been fantastic, as he has been all season long for the Oilers. And we'll show you why. Look at the interchangeability. He's in here tonight taking face-offs in place of Sean Horkoff with the injured shoulder. And Coach Pat Quinn talks so much about interchangeability. This is a perfect example of it here with Dustin Penner playing outside of his comfort zone, but looking very, very comfortable in that face-off zone.
Yeah, Penner's won 61% of his face-offs tonight, 11 of 18. Continuing to a bright spot in this Oilers lineup. Here's Versteeg right in alone and robbed by Delorier. Versteeg knocking that pass out of the air and splitting the Oilers defense. Now he's got it again. This Versteeg, one-on-one with Gilbert, gets it across to Buffalo. It goes off the stick of Strudwick over top of the Edmonton goal. In behind now. Gagne trying to fish it out. Buffalo kicks it out to Gagne. And Ethan Morrow off the skate of Pesky back inside the zone, and the Hawks had to clear the end. Now Strudwick. Right side. On Gilbert. Firing it in deep. Under 7 minutes to go here in a 5-2 Chicago lead. Tolney can't reach it. Brent Sopel is there. Veteran off the glass. Walls at the line. Kept in by Staios. Fires it back in. Dawson now can't find the puck before he gets hit on the play. With forecheck pressure by the Oilers. As Tolney got there first. Staios off the skate. Skate of Taves. Now it's hammered in by Surrey. Edmonton changing. Sopel. Head to Taves. Back to Sharp. Kane dangling, getting around Wisnowski. Can't get the shot away. Losing behind the Edmonton goal. Back up by Schmid. In the doghouse tonight for assorted giveaways. Seabrook. Cross to his partner. Keith up the left wing and tipped into the zone by John Madden. Chicago really moves that puck quickly with their passes. Long stretch passes. At the line, Hemsky lays it back. Schmid will get it outside the zone. Head to Jacques, it's tipped into the high slot. Steered away by Keith, who throws it to center. Ladislav Schmid. Rolling it in the zone. Seabrook quickly in transition. It's Keith. Hot line. Ladd stopping up inside the zone, but can't keep it in. That's to shovel it back. Campbell. Now Colin Fraser. Steaming up ice to center. He'll fire it around the glass. Oilers having trouble mounting any kind of offensive here. And Eager easily around, centers the puck. Fraser can't get the shot. Now Brian Campbell spinning in front of Penner keeps it in. Fraser along the boards to Ben Eager. Eager now trying to keep the cycle going, fires it towards the net, and Kopesky is just late on the deflection. Tom Gilbert in trouble. Steps on the puck, throws it up the boards, and the Oilers manage to get it out. Here's Brulé. Wide. Can't get inside. Jalmerson plays it around behind the net to O'Sullivan. He's beaten to the puck on the play by Brian Campbell, who heads up ice to join the rush. Center is knocked down by Steos, who's favoring his right hand. Brian Campbell still with some energy late in the shift. Drops it for Sharp. Ahead to Versteeg. Turning inside his own line. It's a game of keep away. It looks a bit like the Harlem Globetrotters at this point. Bufflin throwing it deep in the corner. It comes free. Morrow will get it ahead to Gagne. Gagne. Fancy moves at center ice. Nobody around him. He'll play it off the glass deep. A chop there by Morrow that takes Barker down in the heat. And a whistle deep in the Chicago zone. 5-2 Blackhawks on their Western tour on Hockey Night in Canada. The Chicago Blackhawks have the best home record in the NHL, and now they're getting their first stiff test on a 6-game road trip. They only played 7 of their first 20 games on the road. They started off nicely with that one-sided win in Calgary, a 3-goal lead here tonight. They head to Vancouver tomorrow night, then down to California, where apparently on the Wednesday game at San Jose, Joel Quenneville, William Surt, Marian Hossa, at least that's the speculation, Hossa on this trip. Played in front, the deflection off the pass from Morrow was off the stick, and Cogliano continues to be hexed in the goal-scoring department.
Yeah, but doing the right things here. Nice play by the Oilers. Again, good job on the face-off, and Lubomir Visnovsky getting that shot. Nice tip, good save by Chris Baldwin.
Gagne beats Madden on the draw. But Ladd gets the puck first, plays it to Madden.